Just end the podcast right now. We can't recover from this. Oh,
It's wrong.
Now we're working, boys. There we go. I don't know why every single time do we want to restart the stream?
no.
We're really disappointing everyone out there.
Yeah,
If we
all
don't
the one
restart.
viewer.
Hey, you're the viewer.
Yeah, so.
Okay, how about we mute this?
Let's get an intro going. So when I splice this for
turned it
the podcast,
Yo, 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 yo!
what up?
Okay. Diablo 4 comes out tomorrow, gentlemen. 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, excuse me. Pacific Central.
Pacific Central Eastern Time?
I
You
am
live.
I am unbelievably excited for this.
I know you are.
I have done my due diligence. I have never played a Diablo game in my life except for the server slam. This game looks like it's going to be a lot of fun for a handful of hours for me. I'm hoping the handful of hours is closer to 500 than it is 0. But I'm jacked. I'm juiced.
Juiced.
I actually heard it's Blizzard decided to
Delay it.
move development and give it to the Golem game developers.
Good move.
It's a great
Good move.
move.
So I'm really looking forward to it.
No, honestly, so I have my NVIDIA graphics drivers updated. I've got the game pre-installed and loaded. I'm just ready for that 4 p.m. to hit. I got Friday off from work.
I updated my NVIDIA graphics. Oh wait, I'm playing on
PC.
console.
You're on console, boy. Yeah. No, actually,
I do have it
By all
downloaded though.
accounts.
Let me download it like super early.
Preload?
Yeah,
and you got the early access copy.
I did.
Okay,
I paid.
boys, here we
I
go.
paid $90 for the mid-tier version, not even the highest tier. $90.
I know. Did you buy the 100?
Yes, I did. And I did it because after a certain point, you just say fuck it because
What's $10?
yeah, what's
Okay.
$10 at the point? And it's kind
Half
of
a
funny.
chili cheese dog at Wiener Schnitzel.
you get a expedited season pass or battle pass, whatever the hell you want to call it. But as much as I'm going to be playing the game, that's not going to even matter. You get an exclusive mount, which I guess will be kind of cool, but I don't know. I did it because I'm like, I really want to get into. I want to try to get into this game. I'm trying to psych myself up as much as I can because I've got my old guild coming together for this. I've got you guys playing with me. I'm really looking forward to the launch. And anytime a new game launches, there's such an energy around it that's so much fun to be a part of. And
It's
I'm
a
hoping
dangerous
that
energy.
It is. It's
Yes.
a grindy energy.
Yeah.
So
Addictive
I'm not going to be one of
energy.
those guys that doesn't take
Deflated.
a piss for 24 hours and dies. I'm not going to go crazy hard, but I'm probably going to do 12 hours a day.
That's pretty hard.
That's pretty hard.
No, that's pretty casual.
I mean,
That's pretty
you're
casual.
when we put 30 hours into Jedi over the course of like 6 days, you were like, how do you have that much time? And yet you're like, I can
Because
put
it's
12 hours a
Jedi.
day.
No, there's people that are already committing to there's people doing 24-hour streams. There's like, those people are trying to try for that race for the first 1,000 where they get their name inscribed on the statue of Lilith.
So describe that a little bit for
So,
those who don't know.
I believe it's a contest. There's a little bit of controversy around it, and we can get into that. But first 1,000 players that reach max level on hardcore receive their name forever carved into a Lilith statue. And there's some controversy around that because people are calling it pay to win because you can pay to have early access to the game. And then, the example is always like the South American countries that the currency exchange rate is kind of fucked. So they like $10 to them is a lot, like in terms of wages.
Yeah.
And I can understand that. And also there's some people who got early access to the game just to do playtesting. And they're automatically striked from... I don't know. I think there's some cases where they're removed from the contest and others where they're not, depending on how they did it. Or maybe it's just an honor system that they're removing themselves. Um,
Well, I would also hope that maybe they just say, Blizzard somehow programs into like, any character started past this date counts.
well, no, so they're not going to even the everything's starting fresh. So the people who play tested it aren't going to be able to load in their level 80 characters, whatever.
Oh, okay.
But there's the bias is that they already played through the game. And so they're already
Oh.
going to know sort of the best ways to level.
I see.
And
They're
stuff
going
like
to
that.
know the
That's the whole idea of the
speed.
race.
Yeah.
The way that I'm going to do it, I'm going in very neutral minded. I'm going in to have fun. But I am having goals. I am setting my goals, and that's what I want to talk about here tonight. Is my goals are I'm going to try and finish the campaign by day 2. So that means by Saturday night I want to have the campaign done.
Wow. Okay.
At the latest. I actually probably want it to be done by Friday night. Because I'm going to play probably 10 hours on Thursday. That takes me to roughly 1, 2 a.m. So
I am not going to be able to keep up with you.
yeah,
all
he's
right.
going to be so far ahead of us.
I'm going to be like, all right, I'm getting on. And I won't even be able to play with you because you're so like in
Well,
a different
first off,
level
that's the thing too. So I've never played a Blizzard game, and everybody's like really trying to downplay like you're gonna be the servers are gonna be fucked the first couple days. So people are actually saying that you shouldn't have taken the time off, like you shouldn't have taken Friday and Monday off. You should have just done the whole next week when
Yeah.
everything sort of calms down.
Monday.
Because I
Tuesday.
guess they do server queues. And so sometimes in the past, like WoW queues have been north of, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours. So let's hope they're not like that because that would be
Well,
that
absolutely
sounds like a
devastating.
terrible time.
My question to you though would be because I wasn't able to participate, but the server slam. Did you have to wait in a queue that long?
None.
Think
But I
it'll
heard
be
the
fine.
numbers were down on the server slam. That way less people did the server slam. They didn't have enough people to slam their servers.
Their server did not get slammed.
No
But
slamming.
but they
It was
had
just mildly taken care of.
I think they had millions of people for the betas though. So I don't know. We'll see.
I think I personally, we'll see, but I don't think there's going to be that long of a queue. There might be a little one, but I don't think it'll be long because I think they've had enough time to prepare, and it's far enough in the future now that
I'm gonna meme the shit out of you if it takes 5 hours to get into.
I said I
Please
believe
do.
it might be. I might be wrong.
Me for like just sitting there like on my 200 milligrams of caffeine, just fucking twitching out, waiting to fucking play this game. But from the computer standpoint, I'm ready to lock and load. I'm ready to hit play. So I wanted to talk about before we get into some of the stuff that may have been leaked or teased, your game day snack list, or how do you like if you had an ultimate release? I know you guys have historically taken time off for Cyberpunk that ended up not actually
I don't think
being
I've
released during
taken
that time.
time off for anything else besides that.
What do you guys? We're old now, gentlemen. Can't do what we used to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is your game day activities? There's been so many threads of people talking about this. It's kind of turned into a meme, and I wanted to do it too. But like people are like, I'm gonna drink. I got 14 Monster Energy drinks and Red
I'm not
Bulls.
trying to get
and,
kidney stones.
Yeah.
I know, right?
For me,
What's your snacks? What's your setup like?
you know what's funny is mine's pretty plain. So what I like to do, and this is like the
Celery.
perfect when a good game comes out, and I'm prepared to take days off. I'll stay up the night it comes out. I stay up pretty late. Stay up till like maybe 2 a.m. or later, and then go to bed. Wake up semi late. Wake up maybe like 10-ish. I play until lunch. Eat lunch, just like a turkey sandwich or something. Go take a shower. Go back fresh. Play some more. And that's it. Like I drink normal, like my Coke, like normal. But that's, to me, that's when I'm in the zone for a game. Is I'm playing it and I don't really care. I don't have to have snacks or anything besides Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I don't like food when
Well,
I'm
the
gaming.
thing is
It's
it gets all over
distracting.
your fingers too.
I saw people saying like, I got my nachos ready, and you're like, how the fuck are you eating nachos?
I
Playing
hate
on a
like
mouse and
anything that makes
keyboard?
your hands oily.
Oh, no
Like,
way.
That's the one of the main reasons I don't like Cheetos. Is because of how messy they are. Not only like on your hands, but also they get all gunked up in your mouth.
I have to like wash my hands before I play,
Yeah.
like because even if they aren't dirty, they just feel dirty, and I'm like, I have to wash it.
Yeah. So what is your
Oh man,
routine.
I don't know. Back in the day, it was very unhealthy. I used to really like snacking on red vines.
Ooh, okay.
A lot. Well, like licorice and soda, like Baja Blast was a go-to, of course.
Man, amen.
And I really like popcorn as well, but that's another one that gets your hands messy. So I always had like wet wipes. I would eat popcorn, wet wipe, and then throw in the garbage, and then keep playing.
Do you think the kids nowadays do that at all, or is it just a sign of the times?
What, snack while they game?
Well, like that, like with
Prep.
popcorn. Yeah, prep. Baja Blast, popcorn.
I don't know. I would think so. I would think so. Like the kid, I don't know. I think that this game is mostly going to be for 30-year-olds, like especially at launch. Like I'll just be like Diablo is old as fuck.
My go-to thing to eat while I'm gaming, no matter what, because there's no mess. And I think gaming with you guys, you might have heard me talk about this or eat this in the past while we've been playing video games. I'm always eating a bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
I always have a bowl of cereal when I'm gaming. I don't know why.
I agree. So I like to keep it minimal, but I have my meals sort of planned. So like I have the Doritos, the purple bag, the
Spicy nacho?
No.
Oh,
The purple one. Salsa, no. Spicy what the hell is
barbecue or
it?
something?
The purple one.
I know which one you're talking about.
The purple one.
The best one.
It's
It
not-
is spicy sweet chili.
Yeah.
Thank you. Spicy sweet chili. I want to say salsa, but it's
Yeah.
chili. And then a big ass steak. Remember we used to do that all the time? We would go and we'd buy like a 3-pound tri-tip.
Yeah.
And we would cook that shit up at
We,
like 3 in the morning.
Yeah, dude, it was the best. We grilling.
Yep. So I have like that kind of stuff just at the ready so that I'm spending minimal time in the kitchen like prepping things. I also have like tomorrow, like during like my lunch hour and stuff, and I already did a lot of it today by outside work, but I've got all my chores done for the weekend basically, so that I can totally be a bum.
I
and not do
definitely
anything.
try and avoid finger foods.
Yeah.
Like if I could eat it with a
Totally
fork,
agree.
that I can keep going and not have to worry about.
I don't think I eat at all when gaming.
I do. I'm a snacker. I like to eat things casually.
I'm like not a snacker.
I'm not either. I'm like a big meal guy.
Yeah.
That is how I've always been.
Meals carry me through the day. Like I don't eat snacks ever.
And I really just want water while I sit there and
I'm
and
also an
play.
eat when I'm bored person too.
Mm.
It doesn't bode well for me. I'm not very healthy, but I always
But you
gotta
also
be
don't
snacking on
eat that
something.
much, like in any given setting. Like if you were to mow down, I don't think you could put away.
I don't actually calculate the calories. Like I don't watch for the because I even though I am getting heavier, I
doesn't
still
have
have a
to
very
do it
fast
yet.
metabolism. So I mean that will slow down eventually, and I might be in
One
trouble.
day.
But
tomorrow.
like for instance, at work, like I always have like chips
Yeah.
or like something ready to go at all times, and like
He was the worst to work with because seeing
always
him
be
eat
eating.
chips
Makes
made
you-
me want to eat chips.
I always had a bag of chips.
So I think I gained weight when I worked with him. We'd go down to the gas station, get snacks.
There's one right across the street. We just walk over to it.
There you go.
The guy knew my name. Like, hey, Kyle. I'm like, hey.
Peter, right? What's his
Yeah.
name?
Yeah.
Yeah, but my game plan is to have everything situated to where I'm spending minimal time in the kitchen cooking stuff, and I could just rotate back in. But like I said, I'm trying to go to bed on Thursday night at a very reasonable hour, like probably midnight. No, that's probably like midnight to 2, no later than 2.
Yeah.
I don't want to do like a crazy all-nighter because my goal is to still wake up and try to maintain my work schedule, but like wake up at a reasonable hour on Saturday, between like 8 and 10, and be playing by 8 to 10, 10 at the latest. And then that'll give me a full just
Yeah,
kind of
I don't-
day.
I don't like to sleep like the whole day away, like by staying up late. Like I'll cut myself, like say, okay, I need to go to bed so that I can wake up tomorrow, and I
Yeah.
actually have a day tomorrow to play instead of woke up at 1:00 and see you got 9
Yeah.
hours till 10.
Yeah, no. I used to do that shit all the time, but
You used to
It's-
sleep like a madman. So we'd be up till like 4 or 5. And then you'd be asleep till 2:30
Easily.
Remember, we used to have to set it like during the height of our gaming, probably like I don't know, back like when Dark Souls 2 released.
2014.
We were setting alarms to get to work by like 5 in the afternoon. We'd have to set
Dude,
alarms.
Wow.
he would come over at like 3 a.m. Like that's when we would start the night.
And then
We would
so, like,
go like until like my parents would go to work and shit. It was
it'd
just
be like
wild.
10:30, 11 the next day, and I'd be setting my alarm to work at 5 that night.
We both worked at 5 at night.
Wow.
That was the life, dude.
Because we wouldn't get off till midnight, and we usually
Yeah.
we would like meet up and like eat at like a 24-hour buffet or something, and like by the time we actually started gaming, it was like 2-3 o'clock.
Well, you guys
So-
had you guys had more of a night shift,
Yeah, it was like
That's just
swing.
how our life
Yeah.
was. I still don't know how I graduated college. Because none of that makes any sense.
I
during
would
that,
go
but-
back to a not graveyard, but I would go back to a swing if that was ever an option.
Yeah, I look back and I feel like psychologically that schedule worked best for me. I've adjusted to the mornings now and I'm okay with it, but I feel like I felt better sleeping till like noon to 2.
I felt like
Just
I
that, I felt like that was my rhythm.
I didn't need coffee to survive.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I have to have something to get through the day.
Yeah, I don't know what like I've never been like a real like I can do mornings and it's fine. But I'm not like that guy that's like 5:30 baby and ripping a workout and stuff. No, like if I wake up anywhere from like 12 to 2, if I started waking up at like 3 or 4, like that actually felt like it had a negative impact on my life. But there was something about I loved that time because we only hung out maybe like once a week, even at the peak, where you would come over maybe once or twice a week. But like when I was playing Guild Wars 2 and I had like my community on there, like we would start raiding at like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So I would be playing regularly until like 8 or 9 in the morning.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'd be
that's-
hanging out with your brother a lot.
Yeah.
Like, so
Well,
I'd
that's
be at
true,
your
too.
house and you'd be gaming.
But like that time between like 4 a.m. and like 7 a.m. where it's super quiet, I cherished, man. It was like no one was gonna call me, no one was bothering me. It was just like me time, and I was able to game.
Mm-hmm.
I watched TV series. I loved my setup at the time, and it was just a really good time.
Well, I think I've watched one video on this. I'm not an expert, and I don't even know if it's true, but I've heard that like
You're really
preface.
selling me.
yeah, I've heard that some people have like a different
Clock, right?
a different clock to where we and I must be all of us. We aren't morning people, and for me at least at nighttime, I almost get more energy.
Yes,
Yeah, like
100%.
right after probably 10 o'clock, I get
See,
like a second burst.
I totally agree.
Mhm.
I've always struggled, and I've heard that too before, so I think there is some validity to that. I've always been the guy that has struggled to fall asleep, but not when it's like 9 in the morning. Like I actually get tired, when I'm that late for whatever. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that's my natural like breakdown cycle. But like right now, I mean, shit, I'm getting like 6 to 7 hours at best every night.
yeah.
Because I'm up till fucking 1 anyway. Because I just can't. I can't. Calm down.
Honestly, I can't remember the last time I got more than 4 hours.
Dude, yeah,
I'm
good point.
dying.
Well, but my wife, like you take it the other hand, she wakes up in the morning and she could sleep for 24 hours a day, but
Yeah.
she goes to bed at like 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's totally there's nothing I could do to fall asleep at 9.
I don't care
p.m.
what time I have to get up. I can't fall asleep before 9.
There's
No.
no way.
No way.
No way.
I tried. So I went on a trip recently and had a long flight, and I was like, okay, Dylan, you have to be up at 3 a.m. I want at least some sleep because I know I can't sleep on airplanes. And I got like maybe 20 minutes.
Dude.
It's
Yeah.
like I especially when a trip's coming too, but I tried to go to bed early, like 9 o'clock, and it just no.
Yeah. I don't know. I really feel like we have our own internal cycle, and you can make amends with it and be, like have an acceptance level, where I'm waking up in the morning, I get up at 6:30
Well-
every day, and I can get used to it. But it does 100% does not feel natural.
Yeah, and I mean
Ever.
I like the benefits of waking up early. Like I like having a longer day, more sunlight. Like that part is looking at it, like reflecting on it. I'm like
But
that
at what
is nice.
cost?
Yeah, but it's like to wake me up that early, I have to like I'm dead.
You
I'm
gotta-
like
yeah.
fuck.
I love anecdotally the idea of like
Yeah.
watching the sunrise, getting at the morning sunshine, but like in reality, I just don't feel.
There's
like
just
my
people that
energy
could
is
do
there.
it though. That's just better. Like I have a coworker that no matter what time he goes to bed, he's always up 4:30 at the gym by 5:15
That's insane.
every single morning, 7 days a week.
My dad can't sleep past 5 o'clock. Like
Yeah.
he just wakes up even on the weekend. I'm like,
Yep. Same with my dad.
Nuts.
That's blue collar work for your entire life.
and it's like
just
I've always
ingrained in
thought,
him.
is that going to happen to us one day? I don't think it is.
dude, I'm waiting for it to happen.
It's like when
I just turned 30. I'm waiting for that to happen.
By the
Like,
time my dad was my age, he already had like at least 20 years more worth of work.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for that to happen.
He's
man.
been working since he was 8 years old.
That's so funny. No, I think there's some serious truth to this. I really do. It's just interesting.
And I've always thought, did you guys ever work full graveyard, like actually
did.
graveyard? I've always
I did swing. I never did graveyard.
I'll ask you, Kyle. I've always pictured myself. I think personally, I would do great at graveyard just because of how my sleep schedule is and how I can stay awake a while. Did you have any trouble
So-
with it?
I didn't mind graveyard, but then the problem with that is then that was cutting into my hanging out time because that's
Your
when I
social
hung out with
life.
my friends was the middle of the night. So I was working, which is weird. That graveyard was doing that. I hated the job, so I think that affected me more than the hours itself. The job was terrible, and also I was a full-time college student, so that was rough. So I worked at Dairy Queen, 35 to 40 hours a week. And then I went to school. I had 5 classes, and I worked graveyard. So I would go to work, and I would work from 11 o'clock at night till 8 in the morning. Then I would sleep from 8 to 10:30 or 11, and then I would have class from noon to like 4, and then I would sleep from like 5 to 10, and to
Hell
try
no.
and catch up on the sleep I
Wow.
didn't get in the morning. From 5 to 10, I wasn't sleeping. I was working at Dairy Queen. And then I would go over to, and I did that for like a week. And then I stopped working at Dairy Queen. And then I was sleeping from like 5 to 10. So, because I was working at there was a week overlap where I was working at Dairy Queen and the graveyard at the restaurant. And so that was brutal. And then it got a little bit better when I was just working at the restaurant. And then I was like, what the fuck am I doing this for? Because I really wanted to get into the restaurant industry just for like the tips, because I like the idea of having just money every night.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the wrong type of way to get into it for sure.
Damn, man. I've had times in my life where it gets crazy busy. But I don't know how you guys are. The busier I am, like the better I respond. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I feel like when I don't know, like when I'm not spiraling, but like when I feel the most lazy or when I feel like I don't have control of things is when I have the most time to do things. But if I have like a very jam-packed schedule where you're like something like that, where it's like you're committed to something that you're obligated to go to every 2 hours, I feel like I'm just a rock star. Like one of my best performances in my life in terms of like college great GPA was my last semester. I had an internship that went from basically 6 in the morning until roughly, depending on the day, 10 to noon. And then every single day of the week except Fridays, which on Fridays I would work a full day at my internship. Every single day of the week I would go to school from either 10 or noon till 8 or 9 p.m. And then I would have to come home and I would have hours of work. I was taking 21 credit hours at college. It was my last semester. I was trying to cram everything in to graduate. And they were all 400 level classes. They were very demanding. And some of them were capstone, so they had huge projects associated with them. That was my best performing semester. I got a full-time job from it. I was fucking locked in, and there's no way I was averaging more than 5 hours of sleep. during those weeks. There's no way. And then I led raids on the weekends. So Friday night and Saturday night, I was a raid leader in Guild Wars 2. And I was doing training raids for like 6 hours each of those nights. And so there's no fucking way that I was doing there's no way I was getting more than 5 hours of sleep during the weeks on those. And I felt like my whole being was firing on all cylinders. Like I felt great.
So I mean, I've never scheduled myself that busy, but what I can say is that I do good in work. I do good under pressure. Like I remember what Papa Murphy's, when it was slammed, that was like the amount of pizzas we would do was insane, and like you would just get in this flow. And so I understand, and the only reason we got in the flow is because you had to be in it.
You can't not be in it.
And so I it's hard to tell though if I made myself that busy, if that would work too. But I don't know.
How good does it feel to fall into those flow states?
It feels so good.
Oh my God. You're like, it's an out of body experience.
Honestly, like working where I work now, like during busy times when it gets busy, like it really just doesn't hold a candle to what it's like working in like fast food.
Fuck
Yeah.
no, dude.
It's a totally different thing.
There's
like,
no time to yourself.
Yeah, like I a lot of people that I work with, like this is like their first job. And they'll be like, "Oh my God, it's so intense." And I maintain that everyone should like pay their dues
Yeah,
and
at
work
a
in
restaurant.
Customer service.
or before they skip that and work
It
in
gives
like
you a different kind of empathy, right?
like I remember there'd be days, especially so 4th of July, I worked at Dairy Queen. 4th of July is really big in our town, and I worked right next to the fireworks.
Yeah.
So that was, busiest time of the year. And you would get there and you would not stop moving for 8 to 12 hours. And if you stopped, you'd be getting screamed at. Like it wasn't like it was just, all right, we can do this. It was, what the fuck are you doing? Like go. Like it was no HR. There was nothing, no one to maintain or handle that. Like,
Well, what's crazy to me is like that. I don't know. Like I feel like I like those challenges in my life because I'll give you an anecdotal example. So I have alopecia, right? So that they say it's triggered by stress. Let's say it is. I don't know if it is. I don't really know if I even feel stress or whatever. I definitely get anxiety, but
I don't know if I feel stressed.
I get anxiety about some things, but I don't know if I feel stressed about certain things because I
want to live inside of you
compartmentalize.
for a little bit.
I know.
Just be you. Live inside of you.
I want to be inside of you.
But during that semester that I just laid out, where I had like the craziest of all schedules, you would have thought stress levels through the roof, all that shit. My alopecia completely subsided for those 6 months.
You just had a full head of hair.
So if unbelievably, yes,
That's so
I had
random. That's
so
crazy.
alopecia, it grew back, and for like 4 or 5, and then you could see photos from me. Like I wasn't so quick to shave it, so I had like a little bit of like a buzz cut looking thing. But yeah, during like the craziest time in my life, it's the only time ever since getting diagnosed with alopecia. It's the only time it's ever grown back was that chaotic period. And I remember like feeling it come back, and I was just giggling. I'm like, by all accounts, this is the most stressful, anxiety-ridden situation of my life. I'm trying to get a job. I'm busting my ass. I'm wearing like, suits to school. I have no time for anything. And I'm trying to balance a relationship with my, at the time, future wife, or girlfriend or whatever. And unbelievable amount of stuff going on. No problem. Hair grew back. I felt like I was fucking firing. But then I get left to my own proclivities, and it's like,
I think there's some to that, and I think it applies to everybody. It's one of my favorite quotes, like that I've learned while working, is that you always want to be uncomfortable.
I agree.
In work and in life. So
because it pushes you.
Yeah. So I mean, that applies to that. I think is I wish right now in school, because I'm going to school again, and I wish I was uncomfortable or had a more set schedule, because man, it is so hard to sit myself down and study
So I was just gonna ask
with
that.
all the freedom.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So have you ever had a job where you aren't being pushed to do anything? And
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It sucks because that to me, I feel lazy. I feel like I'm not making the most of my time or pushing myself to the max or my boundaries. And
And
maybe
like you can
that's-
tell, you're like, fuck, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you don't take pride in what you're doing.
But then you're
fucking
like,
chipmunk. can
you
do
try
this.
to tell yourself to do it. It's like, no.
Yeah,
That's how I felt, honestly, if we're being honest. That's how I felt when I was a personal banker. Because, like, that job, I could sleep through that job.
yeah.
Mhm.
Job was easy. You were an order taker. You know, it was, like, not difficult
Yeah.
at all. And I was, like, okay with that. But I'm like, that doesn't bother me. Like, having a job that you could sleep through. And
So
what bothers me, I'm motivated solely by being able to provide for my family. And if I can't get that out of what I'm doing, that's what pushes me to move to the next level. It's not personal reasons. It's not like
you feel like you've accomplished everything. In
it's
that
not
role.
like I don't
where-
feel like that. I feel like if this isn't enough money to be able to provide
What's next?
my family the life that I think they deserve, then I got to push myself and move forward. But if I was just a single dude, and didn't have to worry about any of that, I'm all for getting a job that I could sleep through.
Dude, if I was a single guy, who the fuck knows what I would be doing? Honestly, legitimate. I would have so much money like saved up, unbelievable. Because I wouldn't do anything other than just basically play games.
Or you would
When
waste all your money.
No, I
You'd become
I
a
never-
microtransaction
no.
whale.
have never. I don't think I've ever bought a cosmetic item. That's not true. Yes, I have. But like comparatively, for how many hours I've played some games, no way.
Over the course of my gaming career since I became an adult, I guarantee you I've spent over $1,000 in cosmetic items.
Yeah,
Damn.
Let's see.
probably.
I've been an adult for 10 years. So over 10 years, that's about $100 a year.
That's reasonable considering how many hours you spend on games. If it makes you happier and you support the creators that you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way I look.
I've
at it.
also
That's how I
made
justify it
mistakes.
to myself.
I've also made mistakes
Like
though, where I bought
accidentally
this.
bought something.
No, where I bought something and I've been like, that wasn't worth it.
Anthem.
Oh, just games in general. Yeah.
The number
So-
one perpetrator is probably Destiny for me.
Oh God.
I see an outfit, I'm like, only 2,000 silver. Let's do
2,000
it.
silver converts to $20 US.
$20 for something that doesn't change the game at all, but I look cool.
And it's a first person shooter, so you don't even get to see yourself.
Just hang out in the
Yeah,
tower.
cool.
Well, this turned into a personal discussion about how we challenge ourselves, but I think we're all pretty excited to play the game at launch.
Yeah.
Diablo 4. Just
So-
so if you
Life.
join.
Starting classes. I'm going full sorcerer. I there's a couple build guides that I might leverage, but I think I really want to just experience and play the game myself. I think I'm going to leverage them loosely. I really kind of liked the build that I had for the Server Slam, and I sort of came up with that with myself. So that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to this game is I don't know if I've ever played a game with this much diversity in how the game can be played. Because not only do you have your skills that could be changed and your talents that could be changed, and then there's this Paracon board and then each class has its own unique thing. But the gear heavily influences your build. And that's a dynamic that I really haven't ever had. So I'm interested to see how that really plays out, when I get north of 50 hours, if I really enjoy it. But by all accounts, man, I had a lot of fun in the Server Slam, and I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
So,
I would
sorcerer.
Starting class, I'm still on the fence. I'll probably be on the fence until I boot up the game, but it's between Druid and Barbarian now, unless they release Paladin and then instantly.
Kyle, why don't you tell your class and then we can talk about that tease.
Sorcerer. No, I think I've mentioned this before, but I always go like the big melee guy. So it's either rogue or barbarian for me, but it's probably gonna be a barbarian because it's more my style.
Dude, the
Barbarian
is
was
looking
fun to
sick.
play.
Up,
The
up front
barbarian is
in the
looking sick.
action.
Mm-hmm.
They got
I-
this whirlwind attack that looks so satisfying, and
I hate glass cannon. It's my least favorite style of play ever. Which
Billy.
I'm too reckless to play like with a build like that.
Yeah.
I gotta be up in the action.
I need
and-
something that constantly heals me because I'm gonna be constantly getting fucked.
so the sorcerer actually has a lot of defensive skills that felt really, really good to use in the beta. So I'm looking for. I think I'm gonna actually go like a hybrid build because I actually enjoyed specking defensively.
What element?
I'm actually gonna go ice.
Ice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ice or lightning. But I'm gonna mainline
Quite
ice.
frightening.
Basically, there's a lot of crowd control that you can do with ice, and that's always good. You can make enemies vulnerable. I like the basic attack that you get with that, and then you get frost armor, which is sick. What?
I'm laughing at Dylan's stupid rhyming.
Oh,
He said ice, nice, and lightning. Quite frightening.
oh shit, that's pretty talented. I'm in my own head. I'm not even listening to you.
Billy's like, I'm gonna use the basic attack, which changes between multiple enemies.
I still have a lot of work to understand the full damage formula, and I don't know if I'll ever get there. But that's a whole deep dive that I got to hit at some point.
What about Kyle aesthetically? Since you don't really know until you get in the game, but aesthetically, what barbarian weapons do you think you're gonna have? If I remember correctly, it's 2. You get 2 main ones.
I like big sweeping double-handed, so like a two-handed axe.
So
probably.
2-handed axe, and then what for? There's your heavy weapon and then a light weapon. What about your light weapon?
The only one I played with was like a short sword.
Short sword.
Yeah, but granted, my only experience in Diablo 4 is I did the server slam, I got to the town, and then I stopped. So like I'm very minimal in knowing what I want to do.
The one I had a lot of fun with the barbarian, and I think if I do barbarian, I already have my character all planned out, Kyle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Kratos.
Kratos.
Straight up Kratos.
I think the barbarian fits that.
Yeah. I did spear as the main weapon. That I really enjoyed that because I could zip around the battlefield and poke.
The weapon types really just. Do they change much of anything? At least on sorcerer, they really didn't.
So
I
for
was
barbarian,
using dagger and staff
yes,
and
a lot.
Okay.
But he's the only class really.
Okay.
That's like his thing though, is that he has the ability to change his playstyle up when with all the different weapons. So like spear is long
Jab.
reach jab, and I really enjoyed it. And the abilities, the nice thing is the abilities change depending on the weapon. So like if I remember correctly, my basic attack with 2 short swords was he would just like go like this, stab. Whereas the spear, he would lunge. And so if there was an enemy far away, I could lunge at him and it would get me over there. And then I could do, my area of effect thing. So it changed depending what weapon. And then I think probably the hammer versus the double-bladed axe is probably a little bit different, but they might act the same. I'm not sure there. But I know there's like a giant sword you could have, like a long sword. And that one did react differently.
A bastard sword.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So that's the barbarian's thing, is the amount of weapons you can have and how they change your playstyle.
Yeah, they have there's like an attuned I forget the name of it, but you can like attune certain skills where you get additional benefits for sorcerer. So you get like additional passive benefits, and you don't even have to have those skills slotted on your bar. It could be any skill, I believe, that you have unlocked.
Well, and I didn't really get to experience this just because I kept changing characters so I could try them all. But on the barbarian, with the different weapons, you earn mastery, and that adds
interesting.
modifiers to those weapons. So like if you use a spear more, you'll level up your spear ability, and then so any spear you use, you'll automatically be better than if you use a weapon you never used before.
Hopefully that doesn't get like super grindy where you're just trying to grind out
Hopefully not.
like axe and you hate axe and
1,000 kills
yeah.
with the axe. Yeah.
That would just
But
suck.
it seemed just to let you choose what your favorite weapons were, and then you would only like it would level up separately from everything else. So if you
okay.
like spear, you can just level that up and you don't have to worry about the other weapons. The only thing I would worry about there is I would hope that like that you find another spear that's you can level up with you or that's good enough, and how hard that would be with how
I don't
many
know if I
weapons there
like
are.
weapons leveling up separately.
Yeah, that's a big
I'm
thing.
not a huge fan of that.
So
yeah,
That
think it's
because I feel
gimmicky.
like that traps me into one play style. Because if I max out a weapon I'm not gonna want to be like, well, let me go back
to
and
0.
level
Yeah.
this one up now. Like I understand like perks and skills in a weapon, but I'd like the base level to be like the same as long as in the same class. I'll get used to it regardless. I think that's what we didn't like about what game was it, Dauntless? Remember Dauntless was like that?
yeah.
That was kind of annoying.
Because you can't really play around with things.
Yeah. Billy, do you know, out of all your research, did anybody say, like, around what level should you actually upgrade your items
I haven't
instead of just collecting new loot?
I haven't seen anything, but I would explicitly talk about that, but I would guess around level 50 because that's when you stop leveling up, like getting skill points, and then that's when everything goes into like the Paragon board. So I would assume it's probably around there when you can have your build set, and then
And you
you're
have good
just,
enough gear
yeah.
to warrant an upgrade?
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing I always hate about loot games is, like, having to decide when I stop looting, like when I stop just rotating out the best armor and instead focus on, okay, I really like this, let me upgrade it.
Yeah.
And
It's
how-
always like you gotta wait for to get to almost max before
Yeah.
you can even consider keeping something.
So the story, from what I understand, is a non-linear story. Meaning I think there's like 3 paths that you can take, and you could do them at any time or any point.
Multiple endings?
I don't know how.
Red, green, and blue.
Yeah, there you go. Your choice.
Star Child.
Rejection.
Destruction. I don't know. Like, I think there's probably a preferred path because some of those zones that you wouldn't have unlocked, so you'd have to like run to go get them. But apparently, there's at very early in the story, there's 3 options presented to you, and you could choose and pick whichever way you want to go.
And then I imagine the enemies scale depending on you, right? So, like, if you choose to do one part later, they'll be at your level.
Yeah, the whole game scales. That's what I love about this is every dungeon, every open world, like it's all scaled to you. I like that so much because you could go back and play like the original. Guild Wars 2 has that, and it's fantastic.
But doesn't that sometimes take away the power fantasy, don't you think?
No, because honestly, you're gonna get to a point where your build is so fucking beefy that you're gonna be mowing through stuff.
I guess it's
anyway.
the time of game. It's the type of game.
Right, because like the higher level you get, the harder content is going to be delivered to you, so you're going to have better gear. And so you might be like a very high scaled level 100 versus, a mid tier or something if you're not grinding gear. I'm going to play so I played this beta on World Tier 2 difficulty veteran. And by all research, the loot pool doesn't get any better. There's no better drops. A little better experience gain. But it takes longer to kill enemies, so I think actually you can kill
Is
things
it
faster.
Actually worth it.
Exactly. So I think I'm going to play on World Tier 1.
No,
What?
World Tier 2. I told you the whole experience.
What do
You
you mean?
level up so much faster playing World Tier 2. Like, so much.
I'm playing on World Tier 2 as well. I played on the beta and World Tier 2.
But you're saying
But I guess people are saying the loot table's not any better, and you can clear enemies faster on World Tier 1.
Dylan just likes to feel like an elitist.
no. I'm just saying.
The quest gains that you get are the same.
I know that's the same, but to level up your character, like, because I restarted the game so many times, right, to each character, I would be level 5 in the same spot as I was level 10. Like, it was, it's double the XP basically. So I would say World Tier 2 because it's not that hard.
So
World Tier 2 until you max out and then
Yeah,
lower it
because
down.
So you want to play on World Tier 2 then?
yeah, because
Okay,
to
I'm
me,
down for that. I played it on the beta, and I felt I didn't feel underleveled or underpowered, and I was
Yeah.
figuring everything out.
And
so.
to me, it was worth it just time wise for how fast I leveled up compared to the other one.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I was able to level up a lot more frequently than the other one where it took a while.
Okay.
So I would say 2.
Okay, then we'll do 2.
At least to get to max level, and then like Kyle said, we can drop down or whatever.
Yeah, and we can go up at any point too. Apparently, the World Tier 4, the tournament one, you basically, it's like really tough when you first go into there. But then as you start unlocking the gear that drops from there, like the sacred gear, it gets a lot easier.
Isn't that crazy? Like this whole world tier system and how they have it built is kind of built on you getting to a point and you're like, fuck, this is hard. And then eventually you get to the point where I thought that was hard.
It's face
This
roll.
is hard.
Yeah.
And then, I thought that was hard. This is
It kind of never ended. It's kind of like infinite in a way, but it's not infinite because there's an end point because you're only going to get to certain difficulty content, and that's where I love, like, if you farm all the gear, then you're like, okay, what do I do now? I can smash through any boss. That's where the nightmare dungeons come in, and that's where I'm so excited for this game because have you seen any of the nightmare dungeon stuff?
a little bit. I watched that stream, the one they
Oh,
had.
okay. They showed some of the review embargoes lifted, and some people uploaded content around them. They were saying that, for example, there was one where this object follows you slowly the whole time in the dungeon, and it just pulses damage when you're near it. So you have to keep moving and progressing through at a certain pace. You can't be too slow. And so you have to like haul ass. And then there's like another one where a ghost chases you the whole time. And when it gets to you, it explodes and like dazes you, and it can kill you.
Huh.
So the nightmare stuff seems super cool because that's how you level up your Paragon board and really take your character to the next level. So I think it's gonna be. I feel like even though I'm definitely gonna get to a point where I'm just smashing through everything, and then at that point it's gonna be like rinse repeat, and it'll feel very loopy. But I feel like the nightmare dungeons are where I'm gonna really get into customizing my build and really thinking about each dungeon. But here's the thing, I never would play like a hardcore mode in games. I think I kind of want to try it out like in a month or two.
Well, I
down the
think
line.
the nature of the game, this game allows you to. Same with like Destiny, right? Like I don't usually play the hardest difficulty, but in Destiny, the way it levels you up to it and like makes you, it allows you to play that and feel comfortable, or feel like it's achievable. So I think
How does Destiny do it?
you have the nightfall and the once you reach the level cap, you stop earning good loot, so you have to move on to the next level. But by then, you're already at the point to where you can move there, and you're fine. And then it's like it's going to be like Diablo, where it's constantly this upward hill. But by the time you get to the hardest content, your character has the loot to be able to at least manage it, if not, overcome it.
Yeah.
I love hardcore modes,
Mm-hmm.
but it's never my first choice.
Mm-hmm.
I always
yeah.
play through it on normal first, and after I beat it once, then I go back and I play on the hardest difficulty just to push myself. The only game that ever like was really tough for me, at least, was Witcher 3 on Death March. That one was.
How's
really
the
tough.
hardcore mode work in that game? Permadeath?
No, it's just really hard.
Oh. In this game, it's
I don't know if I
permadeath.
played. Yeah, I don't know if I played a game that had permadeath.
I could see.
did.
I would only want to do it if it was like group content because I'd be sick to myself
Doom.
if I died by myself.
Doesn't Doom Eternal have permadeath?
I think, yeah.
In their, what do they call it?
In
Like,
their hardest mode, you have to beat it in one go.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
insane. What is their hardest difficulty called?
It's some like fight like hell or something.
Yeah, burn like hell.
Yeah.
I know.
Dead Space. That's the one I beat, and it's permadeath.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And you only get one save file. But you can like overwrite the save file, but it's only one save file.
That and like sleep mode kind of gets rid of a lot of the fear too. Like
I was gonna
not
say
saving
save file in and of itself, but I would love to do group content with hardcore mode because if we like all wipe as a team, then that's just funny for them.
and we all wipe as a team.
exactly we
Wipe
go down
our
together.
ass.
Yep, as a team.
I just feel like there's a lot of content variety with this game. I'm looking forward to it. The seasonal stuff seems really cool too.
Did they release like what it is?
Not yet, but apparently there's like a very gameplay defining twist with every season. So they're like every season has its own little theme.
Did
Are they gonna have a Kong versus Godzilla like Warzone did?
Absolutely.
yeah.
Open world Congress.
Did they show like what the? Is there a battle pass?
Oh yeah. I
Did
mean,
they
there's a
show
battle
what,
pass
what
for
the awards look like?
No, not yet.
If
I
you
don't
get
think I've
like
seen
the
any of
deluxe
that.
edition, which is the mid-tier one, you get the battle pass also. And then I think the only difference for the max tier is you get like 20 levels in the battle pass.
20 levels, and you're on the accelerated path,
The accelerated path.
and you get a mount, custom mount.
You get a custom mount on the deluxe version too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think you get a custom mount on the regular version too.
No, he gets a special like.
do I get it? I thought I got like a unique one.
You get a custom mount even if you don't own the game.
Yeah,
I'm just
they
kidding.
sent it to your house. People never even touched a PC or.
I don't even know
console.
what Diablo is.
I don't. Yeah, apparently the mounts feel very good in the game. They have like active abilities to dash and like move forward and stuff, and they make the world feel very like you can navigate through.
I
it
just want to
quickly.
know when we get to the silly mounts. You know, like little leprechaun.
Siege turtle,
Yeah, that are ride.
rainbow, just fucking
You know, yeah.
for $30 you can get you could ride a star.
Those are funny to me, but I also sort of hate them in games. Like
It's immersion breaking.
yeah, like in Destiny when you see some dude on a fucking tiny ass little, I don't know, scrubber, like that looks like
Like
the
a sponge.
no, like the scrubbers on the football or on the hockey fields.
A Zamboni.
Oh,
Zambo-
Zambonis?
Yeah, you can get it. Like there's a Zamboni skin for your little thing, and it's like
I don't like
That's
anything
disappointing.
that looks like it shouldn't belong in the lore.
Mhm.
Like I'm very story narrative driven when I game, so I don't like silly things like that. It's funny, but like I would never actually equip it
yeah.
and use it.
Well, the story is supposed to take around 10 to 12 hours from start to finish.
Okay, that's
So the campaign itself, and then the campaign, just like anything else, it scales. So if you want to rush just the campaign, you like if you
It'll
fight
scale
the
with
end
you.
boss and you're only level 10 for whatever reason, it'll be level 10. So
I never leveled up. Somehow I didn't.
I've
collect
avoided
XP.
doesn't it force you to level
It
up?
does,
Yeah.
it
You just
auto.
don't spec.
I
You
never
could choose not to spec, I guess.
You could suck on purpose.
I never assigned a perk.
This is hardcore Iron Man
I do
mode.
like the games that you don't actually level up until you click on it. like,
so you can-
Because the
Feels
reason
more
I like
rewarding?
that, if I'm playing like a hardcore game, like a game on the hardcore difficulty, for example, Knights of the Old Republic, when you level up, it gives you max health. So like I'll save my level ups for like a really hard fight, and then just use those
spam
as healing.
heals.
Like I'll have like 3 level ups going into a boss fight.
I think that's actually how Diablo works. When you get a new level,
You
you
do
go
heal.
to full health and max heals, I think. Maybe not max heals, but yeah, you go to full health. Because it saved my ass a couple times in
Yeah.
fights.
Puts out a blast.
Yeah, I think it does damage too.
But the way you can stack it in Knights of the Old Republic, you can hella cheese like boss fights.
Dude.
Oh, Billy, I have a retraction to make on the behalf of me and Kyle. We were wrong about Zelda. There is
Okay.
an XP system built in, and it's hidden. I had no clue. I had to watch
A
this
hidden
whole.
XP system?
I had to watch a whole video on it to learn the secret. So you do level up. It's behind the scenes. You never see anything, and it's counted by enemy types and the amount of times you defeat them. And there's a limit. So, like for example, there's these they're bokoblins. They're like the generic enemy. After you defeat 10 of them, you no longer get XP from them. So you have to defeat other enemies. So the game levels you up as long as you're challenging yourself and fighting new, different enemy types.
Well, that's arbitrary
And
as fuck. You wouldn't even know that if you were just playing the game, would you?
Kind of. I did notice, like, you start
Does
to
it give
notice
you like a in-game achievement saying you killed 10 of these?
harder enemies spawn, and they have better weapons. So like me and Kyle were saying, where you could go to the hardest area. Eventually, if you go to the hardest area, you kill all the enemies there and you collect ton of XP. When you come back, there would be harder enemies
They're
with
gonna be insane.
same level weapons as what you found over there.
Yeah.
So we were wrong.
Interesting. That makes the world feel very
That's what you
dynamic
get
then.
for reviewing a game when you only complete about 10% of it.
Yep.
Everybody's so disappointed.
All those people
I'm sorry.
that bought the game because of what we told them.
Because I said there was no XP.
Yeah, it was really an underground, indie game that no one really.
They
had
came
heard of.
to us for the info on it.
Yeah.
I know. Let them down. Dylan, where can people find us?
They can find us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, or any major podcast listening platform, as well as Twitter, where we post regular posts and just, kind of our thoughts on different tweets,
We post
Twits.
thoughts on tweets.
Yeah, we post thoughts
Twits.
on tweets. We do
This is what Elon Musk has been
hashtags.
doing lately.
We do the hashtags. We pay for the blue check mark.
Tell me you're old without
I
telling me
think
you're
we
old.
do.
Awesome. Any closing thoughts there, Kyle?
Other than, I love you guys.
Oh, thanks. Well, catch us on Diablo 4 tomorrow. And thanks, everybody.
We're ready.
Bye.
Have a good one.